Hello guys, welcome to Open Techno. Today I'm going to introduce you to the Minix SF15 Fold, a portable monitor that will allow us to take our home setup anywhere in the world, including up to 3 screens if we count the one on the laptop. It's this product I have right here behind me, and in this video we're gonna take a closer look at it. It's a monitor, I'll tell you right now, that has a thickness of 2 centimeters, which makes it super versatile for all situations. Let's get to know it in depth. And let's start with the unboxing. What do we find in the box? Well, as soon as we open it, the first thing we find is a case in which we can carry this portable monitor. Also in this case, we can store the external power cables and the cable to connect it to our computer on the sides. And we could even put in some additional things like, well, I don't know, a charger for our laptop, a charger for our mobile phone, basically different things, or even our tablet. As for the product, what we have is a fully foldable monitor, which comes with the screens arranged in such a way that they protect each other. The back part is a hinge that allows us to stand the monitors up, and then we can extend the top screen up to 300 degrees of rotation. That is, we could flip it backwards when it's fully folded. We have dimensions of 21 centimeters in height, 35 centimeters in width, and, as I mentioned before, a little over 2 centimeters in thickness. The box also includes a 35-watt adapter with USB-C for the monitor and USB-A for powering extra devices. Then we'll find 4 connections, the one that already comes with the adapter, which I think is a United States plug. And we'll get 3 more adapters. Among them is the one for the European Union, or for example, countries like England. Then regarding the rear hinge, that's where we'll find all the controls. We will have a USB-C port for power input, another USB-C for controlling the monitors from the computer. That is, with a single cable we can share 2 screens, like I'm doing, and then we would have 2 mini HDMI ports. On the right side, we will find 3 buttons to turn on and off the brightness, volume, and colors of the monitor. Just so you know, these 2 screens are entirely independent. This means that through the mini HDMI ports, we could connect the console to the top part and, for example, a computer to the bottom part. And we would control both completely independently. However, what do I think most people who buy this monitor might want? Simply connect the computer via USB-C and have access to the computer's display, plus the 2 screens of this Minix SF15. As you can see in this video, when we connect this Minix SF15 to my MacBook Pro, we can have up to 3 monitors to work with at the same time. For this, it's not plug and play. That's the downside of this device, and it's that we'll have to install a tool that comes up when we connect it to our computer via USB-C. Both for Windows and Mac, a tool that's going to control both screens at the same time, just one. Once installed, they'll be seen as 2 separate screens using the same USB-C. On my laptop, I also rearranged the screens since, by default, all 3 are lined up. However, I want them arranged as they are in real life. The bottom part is next to the laptop, and this screen is on top of the SF15. But now let's talk a bit more about the technical side, or the features of this SF15. As its name suggests, we have 2 monitors each. 15.6 inches. The entire product is built with brushed aluminum, which makes it very sturdy and very pleasant to the touch. Then we can adjust the screen brightness from 20 up to 300 candelas per square meter or nits, whichever way you want to see it. And in this case, it also supports high dynamic range, although in my experience it doesn't. It's not very noticeable because we don't have that very high peak brightness either, which would give us greater contrast. It's a monitor, just so you get an idea, pretty standard, but with those aspirations to have a bit more dynamic range than a standard monitor would have. It's resolution. When I talk about resolution, I'm talking about both screens because they're the same. They have a resolution of 1920x 1080p, which is your standard full high definition at 60 Hz. That's the refresh rate. What would I like to do? Both screens have a response time of 25 milliseconds. which means that maybe for playing video games, especially shooters, it might not be optimal since we're going to have a bit of delay with the mouse movements. Something you wouldn't even notice in real life. You don't notice anything at all, but it can affect us if we try to use it for games or competitive players. However, as I mentioned before, we can connect a PlayStation 5, a Nintendo Switch, which we can connect as I said earlier. Casual, fun, and family games. We can easily play Mario Kart without any issues or even noticing. This monitor has 2 speakers, one on the left side and one on the right side, each with 1 watt for a total audio power of 2 watts. As for the speakers, I'll tell you right now, they're not speakers that stand out for their good quality. However, they will get the job done. Well, in the end, their purpose is going to be, listening to a YouTube video or a conversation without any problem. Now, for example, in my case, the speakers on the MacBook Pro sound much better with more powerful bass. It sounds, well, a bit basic. Regarding the colors of the monitor, and here we're going to talk a little bit about the color arrangement we have. Red, green, blue space at 9300K and 6500K. Then we have a couple of preset adjustments. I've left everything on standard because I think that's where it looks best. And a 100% sRGB color space, which would be about 74% P3. Which means, well, if we're professional photographers or professional videographers, maybe this monitor won't give us the most accurate colors possible. However, well, hey, maybe. For an event, for editing videos at a festival or at a convention, whatever it may be, since we'll be away from home, it may be convenient, but we should remember the colors won't be completely accurate. Look, don't get me wrong, sRGB is the standard for all monitors. I just want to say we lack a full professional P3 monitor range. Now the colors look really good. There is something I've noticed though, and it's that if we don't have the monitor perfectly aligned with our viewing angle, meaning if we're not looking at it from a perfect 180-degree angle straight on, we'll see the monitor's resolution, colors, and ultimately the perceived sharpness of the monitor is going to change. We need the lower screen to be tilted slightly toward us, and the upper screen to be completely straight at eye level, because if not, I think the image quality gets a little distorted. As for the panel, it has blue light protection that we can adjust from 1 to 10 to protect our eyes. And we also have flicker-free technology, so we don't notice any flickering on the screen at all. Now, regarding its use, I found it to be a really useful monitor that allows us to split the screens very well. For example, on the top part, we can put something static that we won't access as much, and then the screen that's next to it, for example, with our laptop, we could have. Well, for example, on one screen, ChatGPT to ask it programming questions, and on the main screen, we could be programming a mobile application. Those are common uses that come to mind. For example, for an editor, we could have, well, one screen with the video timeline, and on the right, we could have the actual video preview. And at the top, well, the browser, to search for music or video resources or any kind of additional information, like, for example, a chat, if we're working in a team. In short, this monitor offers endless possibilities as everyone will use it differently, independent from another person. Now, when it comes to using it with my MacBook Pro, there have been a couple of things that have caught my attention. First, I told you at the beginning that there are 2 USB-C ports, one to power the monitor and another to connect our computer. Here I kind of misled you a bit. Well, I didn't really mislead you. And that's because the monitor itself, if we connect it to external power, will also charge our laptop, which is great since we're still using only one cable. And also, if let's say you're on a flight, or like I mentioned before, at a festival, and you don't have access to an outlet to plug it into the power, you should know that it will be able to draw power from our laptop, meaning it can work with our laptop's battery without a charge or without an external power adapter. This is great since it can get us out of a tight spot. We can use 3 screens without any outlet, you know. Remember, your laptop's battery will now power 3 screens instead of 1, which is going to make the energy drain much faster. Now, do I have to give a negative point to this SF15? As I mentioned earlier, you need to use both monitors. Using the USB-C cable, we will need to install the utility that comes inside the device when we connect it. What happens with this? For example, at my workplace, installing external software on my company computer is prohibited. Actually, the computer doesn't recognize a connected flash drive because it's protected for security reasons. What issue does this cause? If I don't install that video driver, I can't do it. To use both monitors at the same time via USB-C, and I should connect it through HDMI. It only allows me to use the top or bottom monitor, never both simultaneously. I have no issues on my personal computer since I can install any software I want. But keep in mind that if you have a company computer with software installation restrictions, you might have problems using it through USB-C, and I think it could have been something they solved differently. I don't know, maybe internally they could manage that video, those two screens. However, needing to install internal software can honestly be inconvenient. Lastly, we still need to talk about the price. Its price right now is 300 €, which isn't bad if we consider that we have 2 monitors in one. Now, I want to hear your opinions. Please leave them in the comments below. What use would you give to this portable dual monitor? If you found it interesting, if it's a product you think could fit into your workflow, into your daily routine, if you liked the video, if you found it interesting, don't forget to leave a like. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.